Philadelphia 76-year-old strike again, this time by signing veteran guard Kyle Lowry to a one-year deal. And Sixers fans, they are so hyped up for Lowry to return, man. It's just all 100% approval from the Sixers fan base with Kyle Lowry coming back. I'm being sarcastic. That is not true at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite. Sixers fans are crashing out over Kyle Lowry coming back to the team after a horrible season last year. And, yeah, man, Kyle Lowry is returning, and no Sixers fan is really happy about this. And I don't really know what to say other than the fact that I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I was chopping it up with DJ Eastwood of Run It Back Philly a couple days ago, and we were talking about whether Lowry was going to return, and I said VJ Edgecombe's number is 77. Yeah, that's right. My conspiracy theory came true. VJ Edgecombe said himself that his favorite number was 7, yet when it was released that his jersey number was going to be 77, I was a little confused. I was thinking to myself, why not just be 7? You know what I mean? I mean, 77 is worn by, Luka Doncic, but there aren't really many players who ever wore 77. Then I realized, they're probably going to bring back Kyle Lowry as well, as, with some, when it comes to players and, traditions and, older players sort of get priority when it comes to jersey numbers and stuff. It happened back then when Chris Webber got to the Sixers and he stole number 4 from Andre Iguodala. Just that's one example. I don't know why I remember that. But, yeah, Kyle Lowry, wore 7 for the Sixers, and VJ Edgecombe, I guess he had to wear 77 because Lowry was pretty much, being planned by the front office to get re-signed to the Sixers, and it's pretty much been confirmed now because Shams reported it. It is not a fake report. And, yeah, Kyle Lowry's come back to the Sixers, man, and I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. Why do we keep doing this? I'm not going to have like some sort of crazy reaction to it because I knew it was going to happen. I'm not really disappointed either because Kyle Lowry, he did win a championship. It has that veteran experience, I suppose, but I thought the Sixers moved past this. Like, I can't really be disappointed because I've already been disappointed enough by this franchise. But you don't see the OKC Thunder getting praised for their, mentorship or veteran leadership. You don't see the Indiana Pacers, the reason as to why they were able to be so successful is because of their veteran leadership. You know what I mean? I mean, each one of those teams, they do have older players with championship experience and experience in the playoffs, but they're still able to contribute on a basketball court. That is the thing. One of the Sixers' problems for all these years is that we have had so many players. Well, I mean, most players, at least compared to other rosters, we had so many guys who just could not stand, by themselves in the NBA playoffs when those defenses get tougher, when the pressure really hits its highest. The Sixers, they have had to, really shorten their rotations. Of course, other teams shorten their rotations, but they have been bare bone when it comes to any roster depth because they just did not have any guys who could really step up when it mattered the most. And you see all these other teams like the Thunder, the Pacers, like whatever, TJ McConnell, Nembhard, Nesmith, Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, all these, Thunder, they're just stacked with guys who can give you buckets, give you excellent defense, like Lou Dort as well. They have so many guys that can contribute, do multiple things on the court. And the Sixers, they keep investing in veteran leadership without the, the actual part of the game that helps you win an NBA championship. That's actually scoring more points than the other team and making sure they don't score too many points by playing defense, i.e. actually playing basketball. And having those veteran guys, I think it is important, but they still need to be able to play basketball. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't know if I'm sounding crazy or anything, but you need as good of a team talent-wise who can, withstand the NBA playoffs as much as possible. This league is heading towards deep rosters, heading towards youth and athleticism. We know this. Yet the 76ers, they keep signing these old dudes, and I'm scared. I am scared for next season because Nick Nurse, if there is one thing we have learned about Nick Nurse last season, is that he, like Doc Rivers, tends to defer to his veterans. I mean, the dude was playing Gershon Yabusele at center over Dembona and was running 3-guard lineups of Lowry, Gordon, Reggie Jackson. It was horrible. And VJ Edgecombe has been excellent so far. In his one summer league game, he did not play in the game that they just played against the OKC Thunder. But, VJ Edgecombe, he's being touted as a guy who can contribute immediately in the league. But I don't know, man. With Nick Nurse's history, is he going to be playing Kyle Lowry over Eric Gordon? Maybe I'm just being too fearful, maybe over-exaggerating, being too dramatic or something. But I just can't understand why the Sixers keep wasting these roster spots on guys who can't play anymore. I mean, Lowry, he has built a good relationship with McCain and Maxey and hopefully VJ Edgecombe, and I think his basketball IQ is off the charts. I mean, he knows more about the game of basketball than any of us will ever know. That's not the problem. The problem is that the Sixers, they have had an issue when it comes to having guys who are durable enough to last in the NBA playoffs, who can, maintain their stamina in the playoffs and who can keep up with the heat of the playoffs. And Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon can't do that. I mean, Lowry was putting up goose eggs in the Knicks series a couple of years ago. Eric Gordon, he had like one good stretch of games after his tooth surgery, but was horrible defensively. And he can shoot still, but you can't just shoot. You can't just be this specialist and be exploited everywhere else. You know what I mean, man? It's just look, I knew it was going to happen, and I can't say I'm upset about it. But I am, just a little annoyed, I guess. Just annoyed that the Sixers, they seem to just never learn when it comes to this. The rest of the league is heading towards youth. And look, maybe we are overreacting. If Nick Nurse does not play Kyle Lowry or Eric Gordon next season, I'm fine with that. Well, I guess I would be fine with it then, because then they could, play that Udonis Haslem type of role. But I don't think you need two guys to do that. You could have just brought one of Gordon or Lowry back to the team. I mean, why? If you wanted a backup point guard, which makes no sense since the Sixers are already stacked with guards, they have a legit 4-guard rotation in Maxey, McCain, Grimes, and VJ that are, is going to hopefully be included in the playoff rotation. You already have that core set. Why do you need 2 extra guards that are decrepit? And to be 100% honest, I would rather have Trendon Watford be playing a point forward role and fill in those backup point guard minutes if Nick Nurse decides to go that route. I'd rather have him out on the floor bringing the ball up, have Maxey McCain be flying off, all these screens and stuff like that, VJ doing stuff off ball, as opposed to Kyle Lowry, who can't give you anything on the defensive end of the floor at this point in his career. I mean, why could you, if you wanted to do that, if you want a backup point guard, why didn't you just bring back Jared Butler? I mean, he was decent last season, and I understand Kyle Lowry, he has a good relationship with a lot of the young guys, and if he could have became like an assistant coach or a trainer, that would have been cool, but, I guess it's just that dynamic of still being on the team and, being there to help the guys out if, we have too many injuries or something, which isn't totally out of the question with a cursed franchise like the Philadelphia 76ers. But I mean, yeah, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, it just rubs me the wrong way that you have 3 guys on the team who can't really play in the playoffs. And the Sixers, they have 1 roster spot left, and Quentin Grimes is most likely going to fill that spot. Hopefully the Quentin Grimes negotiations, they, settle soon enough. I think the Sixers offseason is pretty much over right after the Grimes situation gets resolved. And I'm just thinking about the playoff rotation, man. Of course, you're going to get Maxey getting a ton of minutes, Paul George, Embiid. I mean, in the NBA, it's usually like 8 to 9 guys. So I guess you're going to have your starting lineup. So, yeah, Maxey, PG, Embiid, Quentin Grimes. Off the bench, McCain as well. So you have 5 dudes already. I guess hopefully VJ Edgecombe. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's VJ Edgecombe. Most likely Kelly Oubre if he's still on the team, if he doesn't get salary dumped. backup center-wise, they're probably going to, need to have some backup center. You have a Dem Bona and Andre Drummond. Hopefully it's a Dem Bona as well, so yeah, Bona, you have, number 8, and then what, Trendon Watford or Jabari Walker, I guess, and then I guess that could be Eric Gordon or Kyle Lowry, but you already have all the guards. You already have your guard rotation set, and if Nick Nurse is out here putting Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon on the floor over VJ Edgecombe to start out the season, he's most likely going to get fired. I mean, his ass is going to be out of here. Because you got to think about it from the ownership's perspective. Josh Harris, he loves to sell false hope to Sixers fans, and what better way to do that than to give as much time, or give a good amount of time, an understandable amount of time, at least by rookie standards, to your third overall pick, who is probably like a top 15 athlete in the NBA coming into his first season, who was going to dunk on everybody and do some crazy transition plays and hopefully, develop his three-point shot and really be a contributor on the team. Having that young player like VJ Edgecombe who can fill seats and really restore some faith in the 76ers, of course the ownership is going to try and go for that. And if Nick Nurse is going to be playing Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, I just can't see Josh Harris putting up with that. I think the ownership is going to force Nick Nurse to play VJ Edgecombe. So I'm not concerned at all really about VJ getting minutes. It's just when it comes to playoff time, you can't be having these guys who are over the age of 35, 34. You got to be at least in your 20s, your late 20s, and, early kind of mid-30s, 33, I guess, at most. But I mean, Paul George is like 34 or something. So we'll see what happens, man. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.